Well, I want to thank PLP for inviting me here today to what I think is truly your first annual meeting since the JPA was formed in July of last year. As Jane mentioned, I am a recovering city manager. That's how I've come to describe myself after 24 years of working as a city manager between Los Altos and San Mateo, and decided it was time to do something different, and decided that I still had an interest in serving and working for local government, but that I no longer had an interest in working for 5 independently elected officials as a city council. So I did what any self-respecting recovering city manager would do. I joined other city managers in a consulting firm. So for the last year, I've been working with Management Partners, and I think Management Partners, we are very proud to have been a part of helping the PLP executive staff and organization develop this strategic plan that can drive your organization going forward. So from my perspective, what a community does for its libraries, what a city government does for its libraries, is really the highest expression of where a city council puts their values in terms of what's important to a community. City halls are important, police stations are important, fire stations, all important. But most city facilities are by and large places for people to work and for city employees to work and to deliver services out into the community. I think the library, city and county employees, the library is truly the public's building with heavy emphasis on public access and public space, the community's living room. I've heard people describe libraries. And it really is, you think about the different services that cities provide, they are often targeted towards different segments of the population, but the libraries truly encompass everyone in community, from young children, from mothers, to senior citizens, to people, mid-career people using resources for business, to the traditional leisure and recreational reading. So I don't think there's any institution in a city or county that gets the type of broad public use that you have in a library. And certainly in a 35 years career in city government, one of what I rate as clearly one of my top 5 satisfactory activities was being a part with the San Mateo community, the San Mateo Council, the San Mateo library staff to construct the main library in San Mateo. And Ben is my community librarian here today as a resident, and I still enjoy the building tremendously. So I wanted to just touch on 4 areas quickly to help kind of set the stage for the discussion of the strategic plan and the implementation of the strategic plan. The role of contemporary libraries, the resources available to libraries, or more appropriately, the lack of resources, and how to leverage and maximize those resources, which is really what PLP is all about. And then the role of PLP. How do you use PLP as a vehicle to leverage the limited resources that you have during these very difficult times to maximize the service that you can provide to your community. When I thought about the role of libraries, I did a little quote search to try to find a nice pithy quote about libraries, and I didn't really find one that satisfied me, other than I forget now who said it, that it's only something to the effect that if you have something that offends everyone, it's a good library. So, but most of the quotes that I found about libraries were focused on books. Many of the quotes were focused on the aspect of the library as being a place where people come in terms of a facility. And I think particularly over the past 20 years, I've seen a significant change in the role of libraries in community, the role of libraries in city and county government, and what librarians are doing. I think that libraries have become much more dynamic and externally focused, taking on a much more significant role in public outreach, that it's, gone are the days when a library says we open the doors and, those that choose to come are welcome to come and enjoy what we have. So I think I've seen libraries pick up a greater role in reaching out to the new, culturally diverse communities within our cities and towns, and helping to bring those new residents to our communities, sometimes new residents to our country, into community and to be a part of community. Libraries, you've upped your partnership with schools and have assumed a greater role of taking on, the developing research skills and library skills in students as the school libraries have been decimated. The great mission with adult literacy, the Project Reads and other adult literacy programs is another example of the outward focus of bringing people, engaging people out in the community. And I think one of the things that we've seen in the last few years is libraries becoming the cyber home for a large segment of the community. I suspect it's the circumstances in your libraries are similar to those in San Mateo, that the computers are very busy. And I've had to have more than one discussion with people, as we were going through our new library, saying, doesn't everybody have at least one computer? Well, that's not the truth, and you know that. So as we continue to evolve in technology, libraries have become that platform, that vehicle for citizens who don't have the means to access the tools, the technology that they need. And I think it's fundamentally important that libraries continue to have the external view and external focus, and continue to redefine yourself. I think that's good for community, that the more active role libraries can play in building community and outreaching community. And it's also good for libraries in terms of maintaining your political support, maintaining your financial support, maintaining community support. Having been in this business many years, I've seen a lot of transitions, and several years ago, the fire service realized that, with the advent of new, very effective fire protection codes, there were fewer and fewer fires. That's a good thing. So the fire service began to transition themselves to the emergency medical service business. And just in any given fire department, 60 to 80% of the calls are emergency medical, and they've transitioned themselves. And I see libraries as being in that type of transition, where you're looking at the environment, you're looking at the resources that you have, and continuing to transition to a more external, engaging focus. Okay, resources. Libraries are on the cutting edge. When there's a budget to be cut, you're on the edge. That's the unfortunate reality, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. I do see, particularly in this new role as a consultant, I get an opportunity to go out and work with many cities. I do think there is an increasing awareness and concern among city councils of how the public safety functions are, crowding out just about everything else, and cities are being forced with choices about, how can we continue to be full-service cities. So I think that is growing. There's greater consciousness of that, but I don't see the financial situation improving anytime soon. I don't expect your managers to be doing anything other than continuing to talk with you about, how can we reduce cost, how can we save money, how can we, manage with fewer resources. And that's really where leverage comes in terms of continuing your efforts to leverage your resources collectively, and that's what you are about, is a collective, to leverage your resources so that you can put the maximum amount of resources into direct public service, whether that's hours, whether that's outreach, whether that's programming, and that's what leveraging is about.